And here's how the video starts. The live stream today with me doing that. Welcome to Friday. How you doing? Tony Scott here, Smooth RB 105.7 in the studio on the air, as I am every weekday from 2 to 7 and most Saturdays from 3 to 8. And here in North Texas on a beautiful day, beautiful summer day in Dallas, and hot, like 93. I think the heat index is 470. So we're outside baking like pizzas, but that's how it goes here in North Texas, right? Time to talk some stories. So Tony's tea and then some. Eddie Murphy is back to making movies. Eddie Murphy's going to make a movie on Netflix about the life of Rudy Ray Moore. Dolomite is my name. It's going to look at the life of Rudy Ray Moore. Rudy Ray Moore died maybe 10 years ago, maybe something like that. Reportedly, the movie has been a passion project for Eddie, and now he's going to get it done on Netflix. This is what I like about like Netflix and Hulu is that they do original programming, and it really pushes the broadcast networks to do better because now they have competition from other platforms now. People on Netflix, on YouTube, Hulu, whatever, Crackle. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there, and a lot of them do original programming, and I'm here for that. I think it makes everybody better. So yeah, there's that. Mary J. Blige is looking at foreclosure on 2 homes, both of them in New Jersey. She owes a total of about $10 million on both of them. And and understand, it ain't her by herself. This also involves Kendu, her ex-husband. It seems like all her financial problems revolve around Kendu and some sort of mismanagement or something that's going on there because she's in debt to everybody. She's got a $5 million tax lien. Well, actually, her and Kendu both have that too. Apex Bank filed for the foreclosure on the 2 homes, saying neither home has been paid on in months. And it may be that she's going to let all that go and start over again. I mean, I'm not her financial consultant. I'm not in meetings or anything like that. But a lot of celebrities, they just say, you know what, let's just cut our losses, let it go, and we'll rise again. And she has, and hopefully she will again. I think I'm positive she will again. So there's that. Diddy no longer wants to own an NFL team. He was trying to buy the Carolina Panthers not that long ago, right? Steph Curry was on board. He was trying to put together a team to buy the Carolina Panthers, but apparently that didn't happen because it was announced that the team was sold and they approved it like a week later. But Diddy says he doesn't want to be part of an organization that oppresses black men, which I totally respect. But at some point, somebody is going to have to be the one to get in there and make change, right? If not you, Diddy, then who? But but again, he doesn't know me, and my opinion doesn't matter to him. But I'm just saying, at some point, somebody's gonna have to do something, right? Maybe not. So, I told you yesterday that Terrell Owens says he's not going to the Hall of Fame induction. He's not going to go when the ceremony happens later this summer. And the NFL, the Hall of Fame people say, you know what? We're saddened by that, but we respect his right to do so. One writer who voted for him to go into the Hall of Fame says he wouldn't have voted for him if he knew Terrell Owens wasn't going to be there. Wouldn't go to the ceremony. Well, that's why you shouldn't have a vote, because it ain't about that. You can if I know he wasn't going to be there, I wouldn't have voted for him. Well, what are you, 12? What are you, 12 years old, man? Come on, man. Really? And the president announced today that he was thinking about pardoning Muhammad Ali. There's a problem with that, though, because there's nothing to pardon Muhammad Ali for. Muhammad Ali was convicted years and years and years ago for not going into the service when he was drafted. A lot of us remember that they went on, but in 1971, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned that conviction, thereby leaving nothing to pardon. And not only that, but a few years later, when President Carter was in office, he pardoned Muhammad Ali and everybody who refused to be inducted into the draft, into the armed services. So there's nothing. How does he not know that? Is he just pulling names out of his ass and just like, bloop, let's see who's next? I mean, is that what he's doing? Because no, is he not listening to anybody? I guess he's not, huh? I guess that's fairly obvious. So there's that. The president also says he wants NFL players to submit names of people who may need a pardon. My understanding is Suge Knight's been blowing up Donald Trump's phone, but I can't confirm that though. So, but this is all a ploy to get people of color, specifically African Americans, in a more favorable, in putting him in a more favorable light to African Americans. But I don't think African Americans, they're not stupid. They see this, man. Come on. You should be grateful. I've been pardoning a lot of African Americans. I can see it now, you know. And it's like that, if it's not him saying that, it'll be, you know, people who are Team Trump will be saying this on TV shows, news shows, and things like that. And I think that's just stupid. It's just stupid. And he's not, you know. Come on, man. And I said this before. You know, whenever he leaves office, whether he's not reelected, he resigns, he's impeached, whatever happens, and he no longer is in office, Congress. There's a lot of loopholes that he exploited that Congress needs to close. Specifically, who can he pardon? Specifically, you know, having family work for him in the White House. Specifically, business interests in countries that are not on the best of terms with the United States. There's a lot of things. He exploited a lot of loopholes that other presidents, you know, it was like they saw dignity in the office. He sees business opportunity. Now, you can make the argument whether that's right or wrong, but the point is that those loopholes need to be closed. With a quickness, just saying. And it broke my heart today to find out about Anthony Bourdain from CNN. Anthony Bourdain hosted the show, Parts Unknown, and Anthony apparently hanged himself in France at a hotel. He was 61 years old. His friend, the French chef Eric Ripert, found him unresponsive. He was there doing an episode of Parts Unknown. And, you know, between that and Kate Spade, it's like, you know, And you know, suicide is a thing. It's always been a thing. But they're saying now, when things like this happen, we tell people you need to call somebody. You know, we'll say this for like a week, and then it'll slowly fade away. But we have to remember all the people who are coming out, celebrities and just, you know, civilians who are not in show business, who are not celebrities, have been saying on social media, on TV and radio, how much they're going to miss Anthony Bourdain, how you know, influential he was, what a great guy he was, how much they admired him. How could he have not known that? That he had so much to live for? I mean, that's the obvious question, but you know what? That's not the legitimate question. The question has to be, what put him in that dark space? What put him in that space where he felt like he no longer had the will to live anymore? What put him in that space? That's the question that needs to be asked. Right? People say, you know, give me my flowers while I'm still alive. Well, absolutely. Absolutely we should. But there are some of us, and I include myself as one of them, because I have had those thoughts in my life before. I have depression. I have hard days. I have what I call dark days where it's pretty hard to even get out of bed. And it's a tough thing. And people say, you know, some people say suicide is a weakness. Suicide is not a weakness. You're weak for saying that. You know, suicide is a tough thing, man. You have to understand somebody's pain. This is a man who's got everything to live for and no reason to take his life. So we thought. But it's important to know that we have to check on people. When you notice a big time change in their behavior, their attitude, how they're talking, you know, you have to say, are you okay? You have to ask the question, are you okay? Because that pain of depression it's like being in mud up to up to here, and it's raining, and you feel like you're just slipping down further and further. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're in mud and you can't get out. And then at some point you don't even want to get out because you're tired. I've been there. And by the grace of God, I've been able to pull out of that and move on with my life. And my heart breaks for Kate Spade and for Anthony Bourdain and for everybody, regular people who have taken their lives because they just didn't know if they just held on one more day, it'd have been okay. And it's a tough thing. It's hard. And like I said, I've been there. I know that pain. And I've talked to people who wanted to kill themselves and had talked to someone one time for like 4 hours. It went to 2, 3 in the morning that we talked. Somebody who to this day I've never met, and didn't need to meet them, but I needed to let them know that it was going to be okay. But that's just, you guys understand where I'm coming from on that. So, but you guys that want to comment on that or anything else I talked about, or maybe something that I didn't talk about, you're more than welcome to just reference what you're talking about, because the comments come from different angles talking about different things. And so if we can, so I know specifically what you're talking about, just say in regards to, and then make your point, and that will be appreciated. Donna says, Trump said that if he knew Sessions was going to recuse himself, he wouldn't have picked him. Yeah, well, you know what? You do have to ask. I mean, how did you not? I don't know if Trump understands, and he's the one who came up with like extreme vetting, that term. And apparently he doesn't vet anybody. He's like, you want the job? you anything for the next couple of years? You want a job? And he just gives people these jobs. And he doesn't ask. And then when it turns on him, he turns on them. So it's kind of like one of those things where, like, come on, man. Happy Friday to you, Barbara. You know what? The presidents, Donna, have been pardoned. Dead people have been getting pardoned for years. Jack Johnson and even like, well, Muhammad Ali doesn't need a pardon, but that's been going on for years. So that's just, it's just, and the president said today, send me a list of people who you think need to be pardoned. I just don't find sincerity in that at all. And maybe it's just my biased point of view, and it probably is. Good evening to you, Teresa. It's a tough thing, Anthony Bourdain's death. And there are lots of people who are in that spot, and understand that if one more day, just hold on one more day, you'll be okay. It'll be all right. It's a tough thing. And Michelle says, more than asking the question about someone's depression, you have to listen and stay there when we push folks away. And the thing is, in communities of color, and I'm not labeling African Americans, communities of color, mental health is a taboo subject, which is one of the reasons I've always been very open about my depression, is so if it helped one person to see that I'm just like you, right? I'm no better, I'm no less. I'm just like you. But you can pull through this. This is why I've always been very open about my depression. And Omega, we all get tired. But God is able. But here's the thing, Omega, that you and I don't know, I'm when you're in that space, you're not really thinking about God. Because if you were thinking about God, you wouldn't be in that space. Because, I grew up being told that committing suicide was a sin. But when you're in that space, the only thing you're thinking of is, how can I make this be over? How can this darkness, how can it end? How can I end this so it doesn't keep happening? How can I stop this from happening? How is it that someone, you're saying this in your head, someone has to know how I can make this stop. And then the devil creeps in and says, well, here's how you do it. And then you think that there's no other way. And then you start thinking about that. And it's hard to describe unless you've been there. And it's very difficult. And it's something that you have to, we need to have more empathy for people who suffer from mental illness. For years we just said, oh, he touched. Just put him back there and give him a glass of water. The TV's on back there. He'll be all right. Well, it's more than that. It's way more than that. Especially our young people. Barbara, thank you so much. Mental health is something it's been ignored for far too long. It's a hidden, forbidden subject, Donna. You're exactly right. And bringing awareness to the community is something that needs to happen on a more consistent basis, and not just when a celebrity kills themselves. It doesn't make them killing themselves any less important. It's very important. But it happens a lot more than we realize. And we need to be mindful of that, I think. So there's that. You don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know. You got to check on people, see how they're doing. Yeah, you absolutely have to do that, because you just don't know. There's people that I have not been in touch with, and then when I reach out to them, So many things happen in their life, and I feel so bad because I wasn't a better friend to them. And I've got to do better. I've got to find the time to do better. And you know, and you know what, Patricia, you know, staying prayed up is great. It's fantastic. I stay prayed up. But when you're in that space, you ain't thinking about staying prayed up. You're thinking about pain. You're thinking about pain. It hurts. This hurts, and it's been hurting for a long time, and it won't stop. How can I get this pain to go away? And that's where you are. That's the space that you're in, you know? And it's not that you don't love God. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that you're in such a dark spot that you can't get out. It's like you fell off a mountain cliff in the dark with no lights, right? And you're falling, and it's pitch black, and you can't see the hand in front of you. You can't see anything, and you're just free falling, and you want it to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if you land on something. But if you land on something, you're going to die. But you're so scared, and you're so and like it's like you've been falling off this cliff for like 15, 20 years. It's a hell of a mountain that mountain cliff you've fallen off of, and you just don't know when it's going to end, and you want it to end. And then in your mind, you're in such a dark spot. There's only one way for it to end. And the thing that we don't realize is that that's not true. That's not true. You just need to hang on for one more day. You just need to call somebody and say, I need to talk I need to talk, man. I really need to talk, you know. And, you know, if that person says, nah, I ain't got time for it, you know. Well, then, you know what? Move on. Just call somebody else. Call somebody else. Call a radio station and talk to a DJ. You know, they'll talk to you. You know, mental pain, Michelle, is like physical pain. You're not in control, and you need it to stop. That's exactly right. It's something that, and you don't know what the cause of it is. A lot of times, in my case, it's serotonin, the chemical that regulates your mood, is what my problem is. And I take medication for it because my brain won't make that chemical. Yours does, hopefully, and you don't have the problems that I have. You know, Jenny, like I've said before, I've been there. I understand it, and I've got no problem being open about it, because if it helps one person, and you know, for those who don't know, I worked on the radio in St. Louis for 26 years before I came here 3 years ago, and there were plenty of people that I referred to. Counselors, psychiatrists, therapists, things like that. Some of them, there was like 2 of them that I paid for their sessions myself. And when the therapist found out I was paying for it, then they waived their fee. And I don't think I only paid like maybe 3 or 4 payments. It was like $20, $30, something like that. But they waived it. And I appreciate that, because it's a serious thing, you know. Ann Omeda works with mental health. You've seen several people make it through, but you have to defy that devil. You can't give him his day. You know, mental health is a tough thing. Michelle has bipolar, and you know, Mariah Carey talked about that in an interview that's up on our website. How she has bipolar. Kanye is bipolar, but he's fighting it, and some days he wins, some days he doesn't win. Now, when he doesn't win, it doesn't mean that the season's over, because he doesn't take his life. But, you know, when you're on meds, you have to take your meds. Taking them a couple days, not taking them a couple days, that doesn't do anything. You're wasting time, you're wasting money. You have to take your meds. And here's the thing you have to remember. These meds make me feel some kind of way. You got to tell your doctor that. You know, when I first got on meds, we went through so many different combinations of meds for my depression until we found the right combination, which turned out to be Prozac and Wellbutrin. A combination of those 2 work for me. But we went through Xanax and all. We went through a bunch of them, man. But you just got to hang in there and find it, because there's light at the end, man. That darkness is going to go away. But you have to be patient. And, you know, Teresa is also a bipolar. Polly has depression. So, you know, and kudos for you for admitting that. You know, there are lots of, Donna says, so many children dealing with various mental health issues. And it's very difficult to manage children because children really, because they don't understand. They don't understand, you know, and that's a tough thing. When I finally went to see a therapist, he helped me realize that I had been depressed for most of my life, if not for my entire life. But because everybody I was around always said, man, life is hard. Life sucks, man. This stinks. I just thought everybody felt that way. I thought I was supposed to feel that way because that's what everybody else did. Everybody gets up and goes to work in the morning. I get up and go to work in the morning. Everybody went to school. I went to school. You know, we all felt this. So I'm supposed to feel that way. So that's how I felt. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't supposed to be that way. But it's a situation where you really truly cannot put everybody in the same box. You know, and Omeda, my prayers to you, because she also deals with a daughter with some mental challenges. You know, and look, Teresa's admitting that she's got something she's going through. Anita says she remembers me going through it in St. Louis and felt bad for me, and I appreciate you saying that. But you know, I went through it. My wife, when I finally got diagnosed, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she let me know she wasn't going anywhere. She wasn't going anywhere. No matter what I did, she wasn't going to leave me because she knew what kind of man I was. This is what she told me, you know, and I thank God every day that she did that, you know. Teresa has PTSD. You know, a lot of times parents are in denial about their children's mental health. I mean, 'cause you know what, we all want perfect, healthy babies. They grow up to be great human beings. And when it doesn't work that way, it throws us off, especially men. A lot of men, just like, we don't even want to deal with it. It can't be my kid. You know, it's like, dude, come on, man. Have you read about the thing with Flo Rida? Have you read about Flo Rida? Just Google Flo Rida. You know what? Go to krnb.com and type in Flo Rida, FLO space RIDA, and read about his situation with his son, because it's not good. And, but, you know, Michelle, love does help. But as you may know, when you're in that dark spot, man, the only thing you're thinking about is this going away. It's just going to go away, man. You're not thinking about love. You're not thinking about God. You're not thinking about your next meal. You're not thinking about, you're thinking, how can I get out of this funk? How can I end this? This is what you're thinking. And it's a tough thing, you know? You know what? And Michelle, you're at a point in your life now, and I've never even had the privilege of meeting you, but I'm just going to tell you now. Michelle, you're in denial. Your dad's in denial about your mental health. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. Just take care of you. He'll figure it out eventually, you know, and if he doesn't, well, you know what? Too bad. You worry about you. You take care of you. Don't worry. The fact that he doesn't understand it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. He just doesn't know how to go about it. Why? Because he's a man, for one, and two is because he's ignorant, not shady. It's not shady ignorant. He's ignorant to understanding mental health. That's it. Barbara, I love you back. You know, Sean, how you doing, man? Yeah, there's a lot of people, you know, when I got diagnosed as having clinical depression, and when I was first given a prescription for meds, I had kept the prescription on my dresser in the bedroom. And I remember my wife asking me, she wasn't my wife then, but she asked me, well, you gonna take it to the drugstore? You know, and I was like, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that right now. And she said, okay. So I finally went and got the meds, you know, and then they stayed in their bottles for about another month and a half, right? So I hadn't gotten any better since I was diagnosed and prescribed medication, because I had not taken the medication, right? And I had an appointment to see my therapist, and I just blew him off. And finally, I went, and we had a conversation, and he says, look, you know how you feel right now. And right now, you feel really bad. Take the meds. What do you have to lose? What do you think, that makes you less of a man? That doesn't make you less of a man. That makes you more of a man, because you're addressing a situation like a man is supposed to. Take it head on. Now, he was telling me he was using the man thing because I'm a man and he was a man. If I'd have been a woman, he probably would have said, this is what women do. This is what adults do. But he was, giving me the whole man angle, the machismo thing. You know how men are. And he's like, take the meds, man. A strong man will take the meds. Man, face this thing head on, man. You're halfway there. You went, you got diagnosed, you got the medicine, take the medicine. 2 weeks later, it takes 2 weeks for the medicine to start working into your system. 2 weeks later, my life changed. My entire life changed. I wasn't in the mud anymore. It wasn't dark anymore. Now, to keep it real, there are days that I do have dark days. But those days that I just need that mental health day. Just to chill and not do anything, not think about anything, right? Get lost in some episodes of Gunsmoke or so. I love Gunsmoke. So it's something like that, right? That's just me. But you have to see that for what it is and then move forward accordingly. If you get diagnosed and you get prescribed medication, take the meds. Take the meds. You have to take the meds. If you don't take the medicine, you're not going to get better. You'd rather sit there. Here's a bottle or 2 bottles or 3 bottles or whatever that have medicines in there that's going to make you feel better. They ain't going to make me feel better. I'm telling you, person to person, it will make you feel better. And if it doesn't, you call the doctor. There are so many different combinations and so many different medicines that can help you. But you have to be honest. You have to be a grown-up about it and be strong. And if it gets to be tough, talk to somebody. And if you don't have anybody, hell, call me. Send me an email, TonyScott@krnb.com, and I'll put your number and tell me that you're having a problem. I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Teresa, take care. Barbara, appreciate you saying that. Jenny, you're so nice. That's why I like to listen to you. I learn. And you know what? And that's the perfect thing right there. You've never been there, and God bless you that you haven't been there. But you understand more than you knew already. See, and that's the thing, is having that empathy, being open to learning about other people's dilemmas, their situations, where they're at in life. Not everything. A wise man told me one time, nothing is what you think it is. Right? He was talking in reference to the entertainment world. I'm telling you in reference to everything in the world. Nothing is what you think it is. Right? I'm not talking about conspiracies, things like that. The NBA, they got to let Cleveland win tonight to keep the series going for the advertisers. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. The NBA already got their money. They already got their money. And no one gives a damn whether the networks make money on it or not. So, and Homeda, take care. And I appreciate you saying that. So, but you know what? It's time for me to go anyway, because it's almost 6:30 and I got to get back on the air. So I appreciate you guys, putting up with me, listening to me talk about depression and suicide and things like that. It's important. Check on people. Please check on people. Have a great weekend. All right. And be safe. Let's see. One more comment from Donna. Love my Donna comments. You have to know there's always someone to help. Yeah. Even it may be somebody you didn't know. I truly believe in my heart that God puts people in your life for a season, sometimes more than a season. But sometimes, you'll find out the reason. Sometimes you'll never find out the reason. I was close to somebody in St. Louis. And then when I lost my job, I lost my friendship. It hurt like hell. But you know what? I came to realize that God put that person in my life for a season. And now they're no longer in my life. I'm okay now. I'm good. And I hope that person has a blessed life. It was just the way it played out, which is fine. So everybody take care. Brenda, thank you for saying that. And hopefully Monday, right? We'll see. All right. Take care.